The trial they never expected. I thought exposing them would be the end. It wasn't. It was the beginning. My name is Adrian Cole, and when you destroy someone's plan, don't expect them to disappear quietly. 2 weeks after the arrests, I started getting calls, blocked numbers, no voice, just breathing, then hanging up. I ignored it at first. Guilt makes people desperate. Desperate people make mistakes. But then something changed. My company's biggest investor pulled out. No explanation, just concerns about ongoing legal exposure. Legal exposure? I wasn't the one under investigation. So I started digging, and what I found made me realize something terrifying. Olivia and her ex weren't the masterminds. They were the front. The real architect was someone I knew, Daniel Mercer, senior partner at a private equity firm. We had been negotiating a merger for months. He attended my wedding, shook my hand, smiled in photos. Turns out, the marriage wasn't just about assets. It was about control. If Olivia had secured partial access to my company's shares through marriage, Mercer's firm could have leveraged it during acquisition. Hostile takeover. Clean, legal, invisible. I wasn't the target. My company was. And I almost signed it over wrapped in a tuxedo. I didn't panic. I prepared. I hired forensic accountants, cyber investigators. I pulled internal emails. And there it was, Mercer's encrypted communications with Olivia's ex. Promises, percentages, timelines, my wedding date circled in red. They weren't trying to steal money. They were trying to steal infrastructure. I made a decision. I wouldn't just defend. I would dismantle. Instead of going public immediately, I invited Mercer to my office, alone. Glass walls, overlooking the city. He walked in confident. "Adrian, I'm sorry about the mess. Tough situation." I slid a tablet across the desk, displayed his encrypted messages. His face didn't change. That's when I knew he had done this before. "You're ambitious," he said calmly, "but you don't understand how leverage works." I leaned forward. "No. You don't understand how exposure works." That same week, I contacted federal investigators again, this time not as a victim, as a cooperating witness. When corporate fraud crosses state lines and involves financial manipulation, it becomes bigger than revenge. It becomes prosecution. Mercer tried to counterattack. Sudden audits, anonymous complaints against my company, rumors online. He thought pressure would make me settle. Instead, I went public, not emotionally, strategically. I held a press conference, no drama, no anger, just facts. Explained the attempted takeover, presented documented evidence, and announced I was filing a civil lawsuit for corporate conspiracy and financial sabotage. That's when everything shifted. Investors returned, stock stabilized, because confidence isn't about perfection. It's about transparency. Meanwhile, Olivia requested a meeting from jail. I didn't want to go, but closure isn't weakness, it's control. She looked smaller behind glass, not manipulative, not confident, just exposed. "You ruined everything," she whispered. I shook my head. No, I stopped it. Then she said something unexpected. "You were never supposed to get hurt." That almost made me laugh. People always say that after they aim the weapon. She offered to testify against Mercer, full cooperation, in exchange for reduced charges. I agreed, not for her, for the bigger target. 3 months later, Mercer was indicted. Corporate conspiracy, financial fraud, attempted coercive acquisition. The courtroom was packed. Reporters, executives, investors. because when powerful men fall, it echoes. I testified calmly, presented timelines, explained the marriage setup, the financial angles, the merger strategy. No anger, just precision. When Mercer's lawyer tried to discredit me, I answered with documentation. Truth has weight. It doesn't need volume. Then came Olivia's testimony. She broke down, admitted everything, said Mercer had orchestrated it, promised debt relief, promised protection. She thought it was temporary. Temporary lies often cause permanent damage. After 6 weeks, the verdict came. Guilty on multiple counts. Mercer was sentenced to federal prison, heavy fines, firm dismantled, reputation erased. Outside the courthouse, reporters asked me, "Do you feel vindicated?" I answered honestly, "No, I feel awake." Because revenge isn't about destruction, it's about correction. A year later, my company doubled in value, stronger board, better security, smarter contracts, and one permanent rule: no one ever gains access through emotion again. I never remarried, not because I'm broken, but because I learned something critical. Trust should be earned in layers, not handed over in vows. Sometimes I drive past the courthouse, not to relive it, but to remember I wasn't almost destroyed. I was almost naive. And that difference saved everything. My name is Adrian Cole. They tried to marry into my empire. Instead, they built my legend. And this wasn't revenge. It was evolution.